Hi, Brian. Thank you for taking time to sit down with me today. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about Foley Private Client Services.
Catherine, it's great to be here today.
Awesome. So I guess the easiest first question here would be, what is Foley Private Client Services?
So that's easy for you to ask, a little more complex to explain, but I'm going to do my best to give you what I consider is the short version, and then I know as we have a dialogue, I'll be able to flesh it out more. But basically, Foley Private Client Services is a service that provides support to our partners that act as trustee for our clients' assets or within their estate. So said another way, it's basically we're running a bank style trustee service within the law firm. And I hope that makes sense, but I promise it'll flesh out more.
That totally makes sense. And talk about a real value differentiator for Foley clients. What does it mean to you, Brian, to be the director of Foley PCS?
So why don't I start with what it means for me to be here, and then I'll elaborate on what the value proposition is. So I can't tell you the pride I have to be part of the Foley family team. And truly, this opportunity, when I saw it many years ago, was the ability for us to differentiate ourselves within the law firm marketplace. So PCS really allows our clients to be generational relationships, and it truly creates a value proposition or a differentiator within the law firm space. And that is just speaks volumes there in terms of what it means to our clients and to our trustees or our partners. Number one for our clients, and it should be all about our clients, putting them in the middle. And from our client perspective, we give them choice. So when they're having their estate planning work done, they have to choose a family member for a trustee. They need to choose a corporate trustee, of which the world I lived for about 25 years, or they can name their partner that they hopefully have forged a relationship for many, many years and decades. And so that creates an opportunity for them to have choice. It allows them to work more closely with their strategic partner generationally, as well as they get what we provide through the law firm. We're providing this bank trustee type service that they would expect and is on par with what they would see from a corporate trustee. So that's kind of a win for them. In terms of what our trustees see is a chance to truly work with clients beyond just transaction. It moves them from being a transactional lawyer or just a scrivener to really sitting at the table with their clients and being that strategic advisor. And it allows for them to continue to work with a client after a liquidity event, and it allows them to continue generationally to work with that family. So those are the kind of the value propositions. In addition, our clients, because of our size, they get access to institutional money managers and investment consultants that they normally in and of themselves wouldn't have access to. So I think of this as a big win for a lot of different people. Most importantly, it creates a value proposition for our clients.
Wow. And that's truly, I mean, the relationship building that goes into the practice is absolutely amazing. Now, I know the group recently changed names. Can you tell me a little bit more about why the group changed its name from Foley Private Office to Foley Private Client Services, or Foley PCS, as we like to call it?
So I'm hoping not to confuse everybody with the name change, and that's part of why we did this back in 2020. But for years, Foley PCS had been known as Foley Private Office. And about 2.5 years ago or so, the firm started a firm-wide multidisciplinary practice that was going to provide holistic advice and counsel to family offices. So naturally, the name for that group was Family Office Group. When you think about Foley Private Client or Foley Private Office, the naming convention and the similarity, even though one is a subset of the family office group, in order to avoid some of that confusion both internally and externally, we did a fair amount of market research to see what made sense in the marketplace. And at the end of the day, moving from Foley Private Office the Foley PCS or Foley Private Client Services is more indicative of all the different services that we're providing to our clients. So, really putting that client first again and trying to say, how can we make this both internally and externally very clear? They're a subset group of one another, but we wanted it to be clear. So hopefully that was clear for you.
Awesome. Yes, that was very clear. Thank you for that explanation. Now, Foley is obviously a very large firm with many different groups within that firm. So, how closely does Foley PCS work with other Foley groups?
Great question. And I think really where I spend my time is probably, though we have business law, litigation, and intellectual property, a lot of my time is really spent with the business law partners and creating awareness for them of probably three different opportunities that may be a chance to engage my business. The first is where there is a liquidity event for their client. Their clients have a monetization of their business. That simply means they may be selling their business to the next generation, they may be selling it outright, or they may just be selling part of it off. That's one opportunity to potentially engage my group. The second one is we have high net worth clients that have complex estate planning needs. And these estate planning needs typically are the creation of different entities, whether they're trusts or limited liability companies. And that's another way to a trigger or an awareness for me to be able to work with our clients. And the last is, one that I mentioned in the previous question, and that's really our Foley Family Office Group. In its name, in and of itself, those family offices are trying to work closely with our law firm on various things, and there are going to be time based on circumstances where Foley PCS might be a good fit.
Here, what is the current value of client assets under management?
So it's a great question, and I have to think about that for a minute and respect obviously to our clients from a privacy standpoint. But in totality, we just hit a new watermark at the end of last month, which was May, and we went over the 5 billion mark. And that's pretty significant when you think about our firm that size, for our size. We've doubled in assets roughly the 7 years that I've been here. Now, granted, there's been some positive market appreciation, but we've really had some true growth in the Foley PCS space. So extremely proud of that. It means that our clients have confidence in what we're doing, and they're willing to consider this service as a potential solution for their family.
Great. And to go a step further, how does Foley protect those assets?
That is also a great question. And so Foley, to be clear, is a law firm first and foremost. So we are not a custodian. We engage two nationally known custodians. We use currently US Bank Institutional for our stocks, bonds, and ETF holdings, and we use Fidelity for our mutual fund holdings. So we're using third-party custodians to safeguard those assets.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And now I'm going to change it up and throw you an easy one here. What makes you most excited about Foley PCS?
It's the same answer I would have given you when I came to Foley's over 7 years ago, and that's I see just tremendous growth opportunity in a chance to really differentiate our law firm in the legal market space among clients. And so when you think about what it's really started out as a Midwestern Foley private office / Foley PCS model, we've added through a combination with Gardier in Texas and Mexico and our continued growth of our Florida offices. These represent a chance to take what we've done very well in the Midwest, where we've been kind of founded, and grow that to our other offices, including the East Coast and Boston with all the fund formation work that we do there. There's just a tremendous opportunity to grow this practice, which, as we're trying to remain relevant in our clients' eyes, this is a chance to provide a service that isn't quote unquote just true legal services. So that's what energizes me every single day when I want to come into the offices. How can we go from 5 billion to 10 billion to 50 billion? So that's what drives me.
Awesome. And during your time with Foley, what do you think has been your biggest accomplishment so far?
So, I would look at it twofold. One is the ability to take, as I said before, what's been primarily Midwestern based, and how do we make that scalable? Because the client experience has to be the same as it is in Dallas, Texas, that it is in Tampa, Florida. So the ability to scale that, the build out of my team that delivers a lot of these back office services and consistency and protocols to our clients is number one. So just really, we need to be on par with corporate trustees nationally. And that's something that I'm very proud of, that I feel we're extremely competitive in that place. Plus, we have that added flexibility based on who we are. The second one is really client-based, and if I can selfishly say, it was the ability to work with a family. Today, they're not a PCS, so I mean, they may be a PCS, fully PCS user down the road, but taking their multi-million dollar liquid cash flow where they had assets all over this country and helping them consolidate that and do a search. So they ended up with good money management that allowed them to understand where assets were. It allowed our attorneys to have a better understanding where those assets were and how they were growing. But at the end of the day, it gave our clients peace of mind that we were able to help them in something that I would say is non-traditional, again, from a legal perspective.
Wow, thank you for that. I can definitely tell that the future is certainly bright for this group. So I'm going to ask you one last question, and then I promise I'll let you out of the hot seat.
Okay.
What is the best way for a client to engage with Foley PCS?
That's probably one of the most important questions you asked. And this is, it really, whether you're a client or whether you're one of our partners, it starts with engaging our estates and trust lawyers, because that's the area that I work with most closely. They do this, they've done it for decades. They do it day in and day out. They've worked with families that are second, third, and fourth generation. So it's really our clients. If the client is looking at this service, they need to have the conversation with their partner about, does this make sense for me and my family? And I'm hopeful that if I'm doing my job correctly on the inside, that that partner is recognizing those opportunities, engaging one of our estates and trust lawyers, and having a conversation. Does this make sense? What are the planning opportunities? And can Foley PCS fit a role with that family? So that's it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time and insight, Brian. I can't wait to follow along and see all of the wonderful things that this group continues to do.